The following has been brought to you by SJP World Media.
You're listening to In the Corner with Benny Mac.
Acknowledge me.
Unfiltered.
Your daddy's not here anymore.
Uncensored.
This kid is an absolute piece of... Watch your mouth, Michael Cole.
And unforgiving.
He's on the line. We get that. But you listen to me, and you listen to me good, Mr. Midlife Crisis.
Here's the man in the corner, Benny Mac.
Hello, welcome to In the Corner. I am, of course, Benny Mac. Joining me from across the pond, get the right way this time, there we go, Mr. Tyler. Mate, Royal Rumble's been, we've had Raw, and that's what we're going to be talking about on today's show. But first off, man, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Benny. Anytime I get to hop on here with you and be a part of In the Corner is always a pleasure. And yeah, we have a lot of wrestling to discuss, so I can't wait. It's ought to be an exciting time to join the great Benny Mac. So thank you for having me part of In the Corner.
Mate, appreciate it. So we were meant to be live at 7 p.m. We're a bit earlier in the UK because we were free, and we were actually, what we were going to do, I'll let out the cat out of the bag now, is we were actually going to just basically record the show, and then it would go live at 7 so people could tune in if they wanted to. As it all pans out, I'd already set it up for a live, so I thought, well, we're free. We are literally about 2 hours early for the show. So, but to be honest, I wanted to talk about the Rumble literally Monday with you, but just the timing and stuff like that. So there's so much been going on. So I just figured, right, we're free. I messaged Tyler, are you free? Yes, I'm free. Let's go, man. Let's talk some Rumble. Just do a little bit of housekeeping before we crack on with it. Is the audio version of the show didn't come out last week because there was some audio problems with this side of things. I'm hoping this time around not so much. So hopefully we can get an audio version out for this week. But yeah, man, it was interesting for the Rumble and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, it was.
There has been a lot of negativity online about the Rumble, certain things. Whether you've seen any of it, I don't know, but we can talk about it a little bit. But before we get there, what do you think of the Rumble? What do you think of the Rumble weekend? There's always a taboo with Saudi anyway, to a degree. But, let's forget about where it was for a second. What did you actually think of the event overall before we dive into the matches?
Well, it's like anything. I enjoyed parts of it. Some parts I didn't enjoy as much, but overall, a pretty decent show. So I can't wait to hear our perspectives on it. But to be honest, I've been back online on social media, but of course there's going to be negativity, and I understand it. There's going to be that layer of it out there on the interwebs, but I can't wait to try to put a positive spin on it. But yet, if we're critical, we're critical. That's just the way it is.
TV shows, no matter what you do, isn't it? You're going to be somewhat. There's always going to be something you don't quite like, I guess.
Sure.
I got because it. So, what time would it have been for you then? So for us over in the UK, it was about 7 p.m. for us. So it's for once. Well, not for once, because we're having more and more of these shows abroad now. There are times when I can actually sit there and watch it live, not like try and avoid social media. Wake up in the morning, try and avoid spoilers. Right. So I got to watch it live, and I think it finished around, I want to say 10:45, 11 p.m. for us. So, what time was it for you? Because obviously I'm guessing it would be early afternoon for you. I don't really... Yeah,
early afternoon. It was 1 o'clock. I actually had to go back and watch the rest of the show because, being on a weekend, you just have things going on in life. But I did watch it live. I started out anyways, watching it as it was going on ESPN now. It's Netflix for you all. I have to think about it because it was on Peacock, then it's on Netflix. Yeah, it's all over the place, which is a good thing for the company. But speaking of WWE, but anyways, it probably got done in real time. I want to say because it lasted almost 3 hours, so it had to be almost getting close to 4 or maybe past that. In American Central Time, you got to remember, I'm I'm 1 hour behind the Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. Not to confuse your listeners anymore in the UK.
Yeah.
Just for
I
the
mean,
time difference sake.
I mean, beforehand we used to have the WWE Network, so we could all just refer to that because that's what it was on for everybody. Now it's on.
Yeah, we could.
You've got ESPN over there now. You've got USA. You've got not USA.
Yeah,
is it USA?
Yeah, USA SmackDown's on USA, and I think CW, NXT, and we don't. I don't have time, at least I'll speak for me, to watch NXT, but it's on the CW now. So, and if you're into AEW, it's on TBS, and just for the other promotions now, TNA's got a deal on AMC. So there's plenty to watch. It's just whoever you're a fan of, and maybe you just want to check it out. So it gets to be a lot, though. Even as wrestling fans, you can only watch so much and find so much time.
There is literally, yeah. I mean, I'd love to. I mean, Powerhouse Hobbs making an appearance in the Rumble. You know, I'm not overly familiar. I know, I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure an AEW guy. And then I like the fact that they even, and I'm skipping ahead here very quickly, but I like the fact that they actually acknowledge the fact that Cody and Powerhouse have a history rather than pretending they don't know each other. Because I like the wrestling in general now. You in the past, even in like, even as late as 2016, 2017, WWE would still pretend that places like TNA didn't exist. So for them to, okay, they didn't acknowledge the AEW brand as such, but at the same time they didn't not acknowledge it either. You know, with like the fact that like, Joe Hendry coming in with TNA, obviously there's a relationship now with WWE and TNA, but I like the fact that they're not ignoring like places like New Japan and TNA and even AEW. Again, I tried watching AEW, Tyler, when it first started. I enjoyed it for a bit. I don't know what it. I'm obviously a WWE person because the production is what it is at WWE, and trying to watch other people.
Yeah,
it's like sorry, it's just like trying to so when you see a remake of a film, you can't help but compare it to the original film. I'm not saying WWF or WWE is the original necessarily, but I've grown up watching it, so it's hard to when I watch another wrestling promotion, even TNA.
You're so used to it. Yeah, that's just probably your comfort zone. Yeah, it's watching WWE.
That's a good way of putting it, actually. Comfort zone. Yeah. So yeah, it's a struggle, and it's not that the wrestling's bad or anything. Just the production is not what I've been conditioned to, I guess. Even though WWE has changed a little bit over the last 2-3 years, but yeah. So I like the fact they acknowledged it in their own way. They didn't go, "He's an AEW guy." They went, "These two know each other." And it's like, nice little Easter egg of these two, popping off. And Royce, Royce
Keys is the new.
I had Keane in my head, which I was like, that's not right. It's Roy. And I knew it wasn't right, but I knew it was Royce. So, but a little bit confusing for people that probably don't know the fact they put his old name up, and then they did it with Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, about a month ago now when he came to SmackDown. They put Zack Ryder, then they changed it to Matt Cardona. It's confusing, but at the same time, it's a nice way of changing it without being too sort of like forcing it down your throat almost, if that makes any sense. So,
yeah, it does. I think, I've heard some criticism online that it was a little less than stellar, even from some of those in the industry. And while I respect their opinion, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm saying this to not knock on the Saudi Arabian people, but I don't know that you're going to get the same kind of reaction as you would over here in the States or over in Europe, because there's a lot of people in England. I know our good friend Sa and his daughter would watch AEW, so that they would be more familiar with Cody's relationship too with a Powerhouse Hobbs. So it would probably resonate. I think they did a nice job because they recognize people would know this guy by Powerhouse Hobbs. So and of course, there's a lot with the name, but WWE always has to own the gimmick. So a lot of the talent know this going in. It's not like it's a secret. So was it a little less than stellar? Sure, but I thought it's still a positive for the company because Powerhouse Hobbs is a beast of an athlete. I mean, I did watch some of his stuff in AEW, and the way he stood across the ring from all these heavyweights and all these superstars. I mean, this guy is a star, and I cannot wait to see how the WWE can utilize him. I thought AEW did a fair job. I'm not trying to say anything derogatory toward AEW because I also like a lot of their talent as well and watch it when I can. However, Powerhouse Hobbs, Help me out, Benny, because everything runs together anymore. And we do take notes, folks, but I digress. But
Mate,
was
so
it
much
Powerhouse
happens, though.
Hobbs? Yeah, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to ask you, did Powerhouse Hobbs confront Bronson Reed? It was another big guy that I think that's what I was
I
trying to
think
recall.
there was a moment, but I think what I took away from it was the Cody, Roy sort of.
No, it was Damian Priest. It was Damian Priest, I believe. Thankfully, I had it written down. That's the only reason my memory got jogged there.
Yeah.
A little bit. Thank God for paper.
I mean, based on the fact that he had the stare down with Damian, do we see him on SmackDown? Because we've not had any Raw. We've already seen, obviously, and he wasn't on Raw. So, do we see him possibly on SmackDown? I don't know, but I don't know. Either way,
I'm not sure either. It will be, and of course, not to get too ahead of ourselves, but Obafemi had such an impressive Royal Rumble, and then
Obafemi,
then we saw him. Yeah,
he started. It was a brilliant start to the Rumble. I think we were all waiting. I don't know about yourself, waiting for a big guy moment, which I feel Brock Lesnar. Obviously, we were waiting. They teased it when Brock did come into the ring. They teased it very, very very well, I thought, and then it did kind of happen, but we only got a snippet of it. I'll ask the question now. Obviously, we're way off it at the moment, but a potential WrestleMania match over Femi Brock Lesnar, if they build that, you've got plenty of time to build it from now till Mania.
Yeah, you do.
Would that be something you want to see, Tyler? Is what I'm getting at.
I'd want to see it, but I think the match that everybody has been clamoring for is Gunther versus Brock. I think as much as I want to see Femi and Brock, maybe we could save that down the road. I think it's a good way to tease it, as you were laying it out with the Royal Rumble, as we witnessed watching the PLE. Let me try to say that faster. But anyways, I'll need Grammarly for this show. But anyways, getting back to the point, I think Lesnar versus Gunther, because Gunther, with retiring, and we'll get to it. I don't mean to get too far ahead. Everything just connects, so it's easy to do. But with him on this role of retiring legends, could it be that Brock's the next in line? He puts over Gunther because we've got this guy that is representing somebody who's dominant for his generation, and But I'm not opposed to Femi and Lesnar, even if it's at another WrestleMania or another big time pay-per-view like event.
I mean, I think Brock's probably, got probably at least 3 to 5 years left, I would say, in his career. I don't know, but again, he's very much attraction. He's very much an attraction piece, isn't he? At the moment, he wasn't even in the Rumble that long, Brock. To be honest, not really. But it was just to have him in there, I guess, and have that. There were a lot of moments in the men's Rumble, especially, and the women's, but that we just ended up falling onto the men's Rumble here, but that have been ready to set up for the next couple of months, if not the next 6 months, especially at least till WrestleMania, with Cody and Drew coming out and hitting Cody and stuff again. So we've got that. You've got, obviously, we know anybody that hasn't watched Raw for some reason, we know now that it's going to be Punk versus Roman, which we'll get into in a little bit. There's the Charlotte Flair Alexa accidental elimination, which I'm reading online apparently was a botch, but it didn't, in the moment, it didn't feel like it was. If it is, or if it was, then in the moment, I didn't pick up on it.
I didn't catch it.
I thought that was a great way, actually, of, I don't think it was obviously I watched it live. Excuse me. I didn't feel like it was a botch in the moment. I actually thought it was a clever way of, she was trying to save Alexa from Nia, and in the process, she hit Nia off the apron, and Nia pulled Alexa down with her. So actually, I thought it was it'll cause some friction, which we already alluded to on last week's show. Do you think there's going to be that? This could be the start of it, a bit more in our faces. I know I've jumped about a bit there, Tyler, so I apologize. But
no, you don't need to apologize. Everything's going to be connective to the subject matter here, and
absolutely.
I think true. It's only going to cause more dissension between Charlotte and Alexa, and whether it was a mishap or not, I think it worked because not only getting Nia Jax, but Nia was just Actually, if you saw it, it wasn't that Charlotte really eliminated her. It's just when she hit Nia with the big boot, she grabbed onto Alexa
Yeah,
and pulled her down. But that will still make people think. And Wade Barrett was doing a brilliant job saying, "Oh, paraphrasing, Charlotte meant to do that," And then Michael Cole
yes,
says,
yeah,
"No, no." It's a great way on commentary to continue to sow the seeds to the friction. That's
absolutely, yeah.
a great term, a great way to put it there, Benny. So yeah, we may be all over the place just because once a topic comes up, it's natural. You're just going to go there. I think it's a good segue actually. And uh, speaking of the women's Royal Rumble, the way it started, and it was Charlotte and Alexa being the entrants one and two. Uh, I know they didn't want a lot of action because they're wanting this picture painted that they're going to be friends. Yet they were enemies at one time. They're kind of frenemies maybe. I did not care for how the match started. I would have rather seen Charlotte or Alexa in a different spot to maybe do that. To me, that was one thing I will be negative about. That I was not crazy as far as how they started the women's Royal
Yeah,
Rumble. I just figured let's get some action in there where there's competitors competing, where we're not having to do this. Oh, I'm going to tease you and put you on the top turnbuckle. I'm going to tease you and hit my finisher, the Sister Abigail, or Charlotte's going to lock in the figure four that could eventually be the figure eight. And I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I was kind of scratching my head. I'm like, let's change up the order a little bit. I get where they were going with the
yeah,
story,
yeah.
but that fell flat to me. I've just got to be honest.
I mean, they could have like had Alexa or Charlotte come out first and have somebody else in between, and then the next one, Alexa or Charlotte come in at number 3 and save them, and then you go from there. But it was a different way to start the Rumble. I mean, the way they kind of teased, like doing their moves on each other, was it was interesting. Again, I think, yeah, I think to be
No, it
honest, I think
was.
the women's Rumble was personally, overall, then the women's Rumble was really good. I really enjoyed it. Like you said, they probably could have done that different. I think you're right, to be honest, having that the frenemies thing. I mean, they sold it well in the ring in terms of doing their moves to each other, or almost doing their moves to each other, and sort of like going, "Yeah, I could get you," and Lexus like, "Yeah, well, I could get you," and so if her elimination was a botch based on what's being said on the internet, then maybe there was something in there that we would have been, maybe Alexa or Charlotte would have intentionally eliminated each other. I don't know, but we'll never know now. So, but
No,
either
no, we
way, I
won't.
feel like you can still use that, what happened, to move the story forward with those two, and it's interesting. In terms of that, since we're on the women's Rumble, Liv intentionally eliminating Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. It was mentioned on Raw. Rodriguez, said, "What's up?" And Liv selling it as, "Oh yeah, you wouldn't be selfish. You've already got a title shot. Win. So friction there. Obviously, the way it looks at the moment, potentially Liv versus Vakir at Mania, possibly. Does Rodriguez pick up the world title? There's friction going on all amongst Judgment Day, and it has been going on for quite a while at this point. So from the men and the women.
It has been. Yeah, the men and women of Judgment Day. And that was a neat moment because not everybody could see it coming until maybe in the moment when Raquel, the cameras did a nice job of panning away enough to where in the split second you saw Liv come up, sneak up behind Raquel and send her over the top rope. And of course the people pop and we're all kind of viewing it going, oh, wow, it's every woman for herself. But I didn't know when she would pull the trigger, to use the analogy, and send somebody. I didn't know if Raquel would be the one to do it, to put Liv over, or Roxanne Perez. It could have went some different ways, but Raquel Rodriguez, I can't say enough great things about her. She eliminated Rhea, Lash
Yeah,
Legend, the NXT stars are just incredible. I mean, the way they pushed her, eliminating Charlotte, Natty eliminated Becky. I
yeah,
mean, there was just some key moments. Kiana James, I cannot say enough complimentary things about how taken back, and I would say impressive. I just don't want to overuse the word, but I'm just going to have to go ahead and do it. Her lifting up Nia Jax, the strength of that woman. I mean, nothing against
really
Nia
good.
Jax, but she is just that she is just an athlete that's got just an immense size. And it's not that she's not a beautiful young lady and a great athlete. She's healthy looking. She's just, she's just. I don't want to seem like I'm knocking on her because she is Nia Jax is very athletic but Kiana James too lifted her up. And you'll have to excuse me. I'm about losing my voice for whatever reason. I guess I got so excited about Kiana James lifting up Nia Jax. We're losing our voice, so I'll let Benny talk while I can catch a break or a breath.
Yeah. I mean, no, it was. I again, because I say only, we had 4 matches on the card, which was the Women's Rumble, the Men's Rumble, and then we had Gunther, AJ, and then we had the WWE Championship. I don't know what you want to talk about first, very quickly. Into both Rumbles, if I was going to rate the men's and women's Rumbles, I thought they both had moments in them that were great. They've all had moments in it which continue stories onto Mania. There's things that can be revisited because of said matches as well. The whole Liv Rodriguez thing, and then Kiana James doing what she did in the Rumble. It's just there was so much to cover. You need one podcast.
There's tons. I mean, you have a variety of ways. I was going to also mention Sol Ruca. Man, the acrobatic style, the clothesline, I think it was on James and Charlotte Flair to enter the Royal Rumble. Then when Chasey Jane eliminated Kalani Jordan and she's talking trash, all of a sudden Sol Ruca just jumps up on the ropes and does that soul crusher. I was like, whoa, man, this girl, I haven't seen enough of her. But her athletic background and just she makes it look effortlessly.
I mean, a little bit of NXT
without effort is what I'm trying to say, relative to effortlessly. That's what if I can finish my words.
Well, was it JR used to say about Rob Van Dam? Like he seems to have the cheat code for gravity in real life.
Oh, he does. RVD was just one of those athletes and wrestlers that the way he could stretch his legs. I mean, you saw why he was compared to Jean-Claude Van Damme. He looked like him. He could do some of the martial arts, so it fit.
It made sense. To
JR's point and yours as well, Benny. I mean, RVD was doing some just innovative things in the ring, and you could tell it was just different, but it made sense at the same time. It had logic behind it. So a big fan of Rob Van Dam, of course, and Sol Ruca now. I'm becoming a big supporter just from the little bit I've been that I've witnessed is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
I've seen a bits of stuff in NXT, and I think she made I feel like she made an appearance at the AAA event they did, and I watched that on YouTube. But back, I feel like it was maybe last year now. But so I've not really seen much for her gear. I know they have to cover up in Saudi and all that kind of stuff. Her gear, for me, was very reminiscent of Lita, sort of back in the day. The style that she was wearing with but what she does in the ring,
and they mentioned the Lita comparison, not necessarily comparing, but that she reminds them of Lita. I guess that's the better way to phrase it.
A few things I want to address very quickly before we move on to maybe the AJ Styles match in obviously the WWE title match, because again I've already said both Rumbles were good in their ways. They had moments like you said, the opening. We have to mention it actually. The opening for the men's Rumble quickly. Braun Breaker being sort of tipped for the win with the rest of Vision. I was going to say this for Billy Aaron because it all kind of links into Raw, but I've just got to bring it up. The fact that this masked person has, the last time it was a masked person, it was Austin Theory, but basically taking out Braun Breaker and doing the curb stomp in the super kick that basically what Seth Rollins does, and taking him out and then throwing him in the ring, and then Obafemi eliminating Breaker is a great way. Because I'll tell you what, Breaker versus Obafemi at some point is got to be on the cards, because that would be an excellent match in itself. A lot of rumors going around about who the Masked Man is, and initially I was like, that's Austin Theory. Maybe this is what we talked about on last week's show. Maybe Austin Theory is here. Somebody put in the comments actually for the channel. Maybe it's Roman. Maybe he's there to spy for Roman Reigns, not necessarily Seth Rollins. Which is a good shout. But I'm leaning more towards Seth. But one of the theories was actually the Masked Man wasn't Austin Theory. It was actually Adam Pearce. I heard that. It's Who it is, I don't know. I'm leaning more towards Austin Theory, but again, no pun intended. It is just a theory, obviously.
Well, to me, it looked like it could have been Seth because it looked like it. Not that Austin Theory don't have facial hair, but you know how Seth's got the beard. Maybe it could have been Seth in the way, or at least Heyman was clever to make us think it was Seth Rollins because he could do the moves exactly like Seth. Because if you paid attention, they edited out of the clip, concerning the highlights from the Rumble. But you can clearly hear Paul Heyman say, "Seth Rollins, it's Seth Rollins."
Yeah,
They got the mice got a little too close to the wise man or the Oracle now. Pardon me. I don't want him coming at me. Not that he should know who I am for crying out loud. It's Paul Heyman, but it could be Seth. Hey, what if it's Adam Pearce? We'll talk about the segment on Raw that opened up the show. But Austin Theory could be still doing it and still have entered the Rumble and still be in denial to really build this story arc with how WWE's creative direction is going with this particular angle.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think a lot there's all people online. No, we won't go there yet. Basically, so we've got to we have to talk about AJ and Gunther. Now, this is the thing I was going to. We'll do AJ Gunther because I will admit so the way I looked at it is that I didn't want AJ to lose. Obviously, that's not what I wanted. I wanted Gunther to lose, and I wanted AJ to be sticking around a bit longer. But what AJ has said leading up to this, and it's only been a 2-week build. Now, have we seen the last of beg your pardon, AJ in WWE? I hope not. I'm hoping there's more to this, but the way things have been said and the way things have been presented, he could be going elsewhere. Now, whether that's what I would like as a fan, and I think a lot of people might agree with this, if he goes and does a run in AEW, let's face it, Tony Khan would be silly not to give him that guy whatever he wants for a year of AJ Styles in AEW. Help the brand. AJ Styles is like a legend. He's phenomenal, pun intended. So it would make sense. But as a long-term fan of AJ Styles, wouldn't it be cool for him to go back to TNA for one last sort of even if it's 6 months, to kind of go full circle? Because AJ Styles has the line of SmackDown is this place that AJ Styles built. TNA, a lot of names through that company way before guys like Kurt Angle went there, and guys like even before Sting went there, I think, and so there's a lot of other names there that have built. Jerry Lynn is one of them off the top of my head. Was there in the early days of TNA before it really took off, and we even saw it on TV over here in the UK. So for me as a fan of AJ, and I'm sure a lot of people might agree, yeah, if he goes to AEW, more power to him. Why the hell not give the fans in AEW some AJ Styles? But I would like to see him finish in TNA. Now, I'm being a bit selfish here with that because the relationship with WWE and TNA, if AJ goes to TNA, there is, yes, AJ Styles cannot wrestle in WWE according to the stipulation that was put out now. Doesn't mean Gunther can't go there and try and stomp on AJ's in his home turf, and actually this time have AJ have the win and go out. I know you meant to go out on your back when you're leaving wrestling, but it doesn't have to be the last match. But I'm just saying it could be interesting.
It could be. I just don't see it. Respectfully, I hear you. Okay. I just think if AJ Styles, yeah, how dare I, right? But AJ Styles, if this is it, and they don't bring him in somehow, which is still possible. I mean, it is wrestling, but it looks like this could be it. But AJ Styles, the way he pulled the gloves back on, though. I mean, it was an emotional send off, but that normally means you're not completely finished, even though that's what it's what's been betrayed, anyways. Yeah. I think AJ Styles will, if he isn't indeed done, respectfully, with his illustrious career in the industry. I mean, he is one of the greats. I agree with you. I think he'll be a coach or a producer. I don't know that I see him going to AEW. I may be wrong on it because Tony Khan will throw the money, and he's got people from New Japan that he's got a history with. So it would make sense, So yeah. I'm not trying to say that to rain on the parade of fans who are wanting to see AJ in AEW. I mean, it would be a cool visual, but at the same time, I think he's one of those guys that has just been associated not only with TNA first, you're correct, but with the WWE and with Rumble, it did correlate because was his debut back in 2016. That was the big entrant that would come in from a run, that he had in Japan, and he was in TNA beforehand, and he was somebody who revolutionized wrestling for his generation. Triple H put it in these terms, and I never thought about it like this, but he said, or at least he did say it, but I saw the clip of it, is what I'm getting at, about how Triple H is the Shawn Michaels of his generation, because everybody heralds Shawn Michaels as being one of the great performers, and he is. Was I the biggest Shawn Michaels fan? Not necessarily, but I definitely loved his matches. I mean, I'm taking nothing away from him, and it's not just because I got a Bret Hart shirt on. That may have something to do with it, but I do respect Shawn Michaels. I'm very happy that
you're still
he's
not
helping.
Montreal, are you? That's why we're.
Yeah, no, I'm still pissed off about Montreal. Screw that. Speaking of screw job, anyways, not a good choice of words, but anyways, getting back, Shawn Michaels coaching, helping produce NXT, and turning his life around. He seems to be happy, and he's a Hall of Famer and well deserved. I grew up on Shawn Michaels too, as much as I did Bret Hart. So in that new generation and on through the Attitude Era, so and Monday Night Wars and all those different facets. So listen, anything is plausible in sports entertainment, aka professional wrestling, and
absolutely.
I'm not saying I don't like him going to TNA and seeing Gunther. That would be huge. They could probably use a pick me up because to be fair, I need to go and watch their debut episode, but I didn't hear a lot of great things about it. But that doesn't mean anything because I still want to view it and have my own opinion for it. But it may be a boost for them and definitely for AEW. But I don't know that we're seeing the end of AJ though. I think as we stated, I mean, eventually he does want to help the younger talent, be a producer, coach for NXT, or even maybe a producer backstage like Bobby Roode, somebody else who was great in TNA too. But I think AJ, they're going to work some kind of angle where he has at least one more match or some more matches. I think this is just a great storyline that can suspend disbelief to where you get the reaction and where he Gunther choked him out with the sleeper. And we'll get into the match. I don't want to get too far ahead either, but it's easy to do.
No, that's right. That's what
as we're mentioning it.
But it was a good match. AJ Styles and Gunther, and a lot of people seem to be, lack of a better word, shitting on Gunther a lot. And actually, the guy was the Intercontinental Champion, the longest reigning, and had some absolute epic matches. I think they're positioning him to be more this, like, not quite a Lesnar or a Roman, but he's got that sort of vibe about him now where he's not on the show every week, but when he does have matches, they are going to be hard hitting and snug, is what some people might say. One quick thing I want to jump on, and I didn't read many of these comments, but I did see a lot of people whinging about, why was Gunther in the Rumble? Why was Gunther in the Rumble? Gunther was advertised to be in the Royal Rumble match pretty early on. It's on our list that we had on here last week when we were going through, who was going to be in the men's and women's Rumble. I put the list. Look, the second name on there is Gunther. It's literally at the bottom of the screen, and it was even being advertised in the graphic to be in the Rumble. So people are like, why was Gunther in the Rumble? Why not so and so? What? He's been advertised. He was one of the 15 that we saw initially being advertised to be in the Rumble. Yes, he's having a match, and we even talked about it on the show. I think that we said he's doing double duty that night. So people obviously don't pay attention. I don't know why. And then I wasn't going to bring it up, but the whole arena thing, there's not many people there, is there? They were there. When they cut away and you got AJ Styles doing the whole, with his hands, you can see the people sat there. It's because the lights are off and they got the lights behind them in the chair. The illusion was that there wasn't many people in there, but because we even sat there and went, there don't seem to be many people there.
I mean, at some glances you would think, well, they're not as full as what was advertised, but then you made a good point, AJ Styles. It looks like there was more people. Or I will say this though, that camera angles can really disguise things. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't sold out, but I was at a SummerSlam and it looked packed, but it was in a stadium and they made it look like it was full. So there is something to be said about that. But to your point, though, I don't want to sound like one of those people online. I think it's easy to speculate and go, oh, they didn't do as well, WWE. But are you kidding? With this relationship with Saudi Arabia, whether controversial or not, whether you like it or not, they're still doing pretty darn well. So don't kid yourself. They had enough people there at least to make it look presentable and like it was full anyways. The illusion. So
there was a because obviously on the hard camera where we see the action from the ring. So obviously they're going to fill. I know they have done that. Even AEW's done that where they fill up that area to make it look like it's a packed stadium. And I get it. It does happen. I'm not disputing that. But there was a bit up in the top, sort of like, so as the camera would pan off to the right looking up, I thought, well, that doesn't look like there's anybody up there either. Then all of a sudden the phone came on with the Firefly, like, effect of like the light on. I was, oh, there are people up there then. Whether it was awful, I don't know. But people were making out like it was empty almost, like the way that people were talking online.
Like there was nobody there. Yeah, they were making it so dramatic. Like, yeah, it's not sold out. It looks like there's only probably 30 people there, or maybe more. Not that low of a number, but just to be funny. But it could be lighting to your perspective. It's production. Sometimes it's so the camera angles pan, excuse me, and you see the fans and the families or whoever in Saudi Arabia. And I think they built the stadium that quick is amazing to me.
3 weeks, I think. 3 weeks.
Yeah, most of the time, stadiums here in the States, and I'm sure you could attest to it in the UK, it takes a long time, but they had the technology to get that sucker up quick. I'm like, wow.
Well, I've
never heard of.
We've still got a pothole outside the house that has still been sat there for months. You got to drive around it so you don't freaking fall in it. So I don't know how they the workforce, the pay I assume was good. I don't know, but it's the people just trying to shit on it because it's Saudi. And the event, I enjoyed it. I'm not saying, again, there were moments where you're kind of like, yeah, okay. I mean, the Sammy Drew match, I mean, it's been very much pointed out. We have had comments on the channel as well. I don't like how they put it, but one of the clips we put out, Mark's never understand that the money is in the chase, although they put cash, not the run for the underdog. I think that what they're trying to get at, because the grammar's not the best, is basically saying, it's in the chase for the guys like Sammy and guys like Finn, guys like LA Knight. I wanted LA Knight to win the Rumble. I got 1 out of 2. I got half of it right. I said Liv to win in the Women's Rumble. I wanted LA Knight to win. I've been wanting to see that. I've been wanting LA Knight to hit that. Now, we've got a lot of year left, to be fair. We are in February.
Yeah, we do.
We're going to have the big moments of Mania. We're going to have stuff being built. It's what frustrates me. We are having things being built as we go, because you're a long-time fan like myself. We can, like, the promo on Raw very quickly before we go to Sammy and Drew, between Roman and CM Punk. This is like 10 years in the making. The CM Punk was a champion.
It's been a lengthy time.
Yeah. Well, over 10 years, actually, because obviously Punk left the company and he's come back. And the promo between them on Raw very quickly was absolutely, I thought was really good. I mean, I was already excited for the prospect of Roman and CM Punk. Was I overly happy that Roman won it? I wasn't upset like some people are, because I feel like we could have had somebody else. But if you've got Roman, and it looks like Cody and Drew possibly... I mean, Cody, Drew, Roman, CM Punk. You'll pay, if you're still paying for PLEs and pay-per-views, whatever you want to call it, those two matches alone, without even knowing what the rest of the card is going to be, you're going to tune in for Punk and Roman, or you're going to tune in for Drew and Cody. So either way, really, you've got two main events.
It's still going to be attractive to you to want to tune in, because they're stars. They're the faces of the company right now, especially Roman. And then with Cody, since he's returned and being champion, defeating Roman, and CM Punk is just, reinvented himself, and along with WWE. I mean, nothing against AEW, but that helped. And then when he came back, and now look at the how far he's come. Not that he needed to necessarily ascend, because he was already a established name and
of course
and a big star, but he's become, I think, bigger now, because he's in there with this young talent that, while he was gone, he was absent, were becoming these big stars. So it's only helping each other with Drew and Cody and Punk and Reigns. And we'll talk about it. I was just going to add, I mean, it's still box office. I mean, even if you're a little let down and disappointed, you're going to still want to watch the match to see what happens.
I mean, I'm not disappointed that Roman won it. That's the wrong way of saying it, but we've seen it, is what I'm getting at, before. Now, the last time Roman won the Rumble, it was met with a lot of negativity, a lot of booing. He even mentioned it in his promo on Raw, being in Philadelphia, and the response being different this time around. More positive than it was back in 2015. So
big difference.
Big difference. And we even had Rock come out at the 2015 Rumble to like raise his cousin's hand and try and get the crowd to flip.
It still did nothing. The Rock couldn't even help Roman.
No,
in Philadelphia, especially.
No, of course not. And I think, I mean, the way we're looking at it, potentially, we've still got Elimination Chamber to go. I mean, we could potentially, the WWE Championship could be actually defended in possibly a triple threat match, maybe. I mean, they don't seem to do the whole rematches anymore. You don't get if you're the ex-champion, you don't seem to get a rematch anymore, but then we've also got Cody dealing with Jacob Fatu. I don't know what's going to happen. And I like not knowing, really. I mean, I've got, obviously, the way it looks, we are going to get Roman CM Punk. They're advertising it, obviously. They want that to happen. Obviously, Punk's still got to get to Mania with the World Heavyweight Championship, technically. I mean, does Seth get involved again? But this time we have another triple threat like we did last year. But this time, I think I'm tired of triple
threats. I'm just going to have to say it. No offense, but I think I just want to see one-on-one. I don't think we need to involve everybody all the time. But as you stated, we don't need to know. But they could go that way. And I guess what? I'm still going to watch, even if I don't like it. That's the thing. I'll still watch it. So it's not like I'm not going to be hypocritical, get on my soapbox just as a fan who doesn't know anything about creative or how it's made, even though there's Unreal out there. But still, I don't claim to know anything about it. But it's just to make the point. Guess what? I'm going to want to watch the triple threat, but it's just my perspective. I'm just kind of getting tired of the triple threat scenarios. But why not? What do I know? Sometimes we just need to watch it, right?
Where it's going to be. I think Triple H said years ago he's more of a fan of a one-on-one match with the heavyweight championships at Mania. So that might be the case. I mean, that's not to say we can't have a fatal four-way or triple threat somewhere, because we had the triple threat last year wasn't even for a heavyweight championship, but it was Roman, Seth, and Punk. But you can do that. So there are ways of having these main events without having a title.
I think it was important, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but because you had Paul Heyman a part of it, because CM Punk was a part of, was the Heyman guy at first, then he went to Reigns, and then he went with Seth there, and then the Vision was created. And I thought it was great because of Paul Heyman. I mean, the 3 stars made it, but the other star in the equation was Paul Heyman, because you didn't know where he was going to lead. There was a little seeds planted with Seth, just looking at Seth, though it wasn't obvious. But then I got to thinking, why not Seth Rollins? Because we've already seen Punk and Reigns. I feel like it freshens things up.
Something new. Yeah. And I think that's where the issue comes with Roman winning the Rumble. We've seen it before. Okay, yes, it was 2015, so it's over 10 years ago. But with Roman being on the top for so long when he was again, but in the same, like I said, I'm not mad. I want to see Punk Roman. Now, how that ends, I have no idea. I'm sure we'll speculate on that as we get there. But back to the WWE Championship match. Let's talk about. I mean, that match didn't. I don't know. I'm not going to say it was. I don't think it was a squash match by any stretch of the imagination. But I think you made the right call by, and you even said it on the show that having the title kept on Drew makes more sense. No offense to Sammy. My concern is that we have seen Sammy in these positions so many times before, where he just gets almost there and doesn't quite get it. Now,
and still fails.
Again, Cody, even Steve Austin said he was always better in the chase for the title than he was actually being the champion. But at some point, I feel like Sammy should be champion at some point. I don't know. Hopefully that happens this year. But I said that last year as well. And I also want LA Knight to be champion, but I also want Finn Balor to be champion. There's not enough belts to go around, so it's hard to know where to.
Wait a minute, you're not Mercedes Moné, with all due respect, with her 20 belts or something. We can't. And I'm not saying to knock her, but it does get a little bit of a much or a stretch when you've got that many titles. I mean, but I do respect her. I'm not knocking her. But since we're saying let's pass out titles, maybe we can get LA Knight and Sami Zayn.
Well, no, but like I didn't want to see Cody win the Rumble again. I'm not saying I never want to see Cody win a Rumble again, but we've already had that the last couple of years. So, and it's led to some great storylines. And it was 2023, and then we didn't win the title. In 2024, he came back, and we had Roman versus Cody. The way they set that up with The Rock and the press conference we even talked about on this show. We talked about a bloody press conference, Tyler. You remember? It was so
we
good,
did. We didn't even talk about a match or a PLE or a Raw or SmackDown or whatever. It was about that press conference. They made it because The Rock coming in, and if you watched Unreal, I'm not going to give it away. Maybe BenNny, you haven't. And from what others have said, and I tend to concur, there seems to have been some changes with how well we liked it and what happened afterwards. So I don't want to speculate, but The Rock, that was a big deal though, because he and Roman had the family connection. Seth and Cody were rebelling against the new ownership, and that was real because The Rock is a shareholder, yet Triple H is head of creative, so they were button heads. So they made it believable, and that's the elements about wrestling that are missing, that we're at least seeing glimpses of, even with the modern presentation. I do miss when I feel like it's real. That's one thing when we go back and watch early 2000s wrestling or some 90s stuff or 80s, you do get a feeling, oh, wait a minute, this might be realistic, where some other stuff you see through it, this makes you believe in it. I mean, it's like a movie or a good show. You get lost in it. You almost forget it's not happening. It's predetermined.
Even a match, like you can start the first 2 to 3 minutes, you can be like, okay, and then you don't even know when it happens. Somewhere like 5 minutes in, I'm going to say, you're just into this match. You're just focused on what these two superstars wrestlers are doing, male or female. And if they've got you, they've got you. And if there's a false finish or a kick out, and you literally, there's a super kick, and you hear the whack, and you're like, but we know, we've been long-time fans, we know that they're not really trying to kill each other, but like sometimes you just get sucked into the story, which is really good.
But you would like to believe they are. I mean, and hey, trust me, it's real. It's physical what they're doing. They're putting their bodies on the line. Because I want to clarify, we're not mocking it. We're just saying we know it's part of the story, but it takes two to tango for the men and women. And you want to believe not only is it physical, there's really some issues. There's some hostility with these two people. And that's all we're saying.
I know people have maybe been a bit critical of Unreal, but I'll put it this way. In terms of that program, yes, Netflix are involved, and I think it's an NFL thing or something being produced by one of the production companies. I'm not really sure. But ultimately, what they show us is what they show us. What have they not shown us is more interesting because...
Well, true. It's the other side of the coin.
Yes.
It could be for the camera, some of it, to where even though a lot has been exposed, whether right or wrong, there is still some details about it that are still mysterious, where they may have not opened up all the time. And who knows what they're feeding us with that show, because you got to think they've got camera crews. It makes you wonder.
Yeah. The whole Seth storyline, not being injured, being injured thing. And then Becky being like, oh, why did you tell me? I've now got to lie to people. And I love the fact they went to the extra length to even lie to Seth's family to a degree, or not say anything to make this moment happen at SummerSlam that happened with the Money in the Bank. So long-term fans, like I said, and for the fact that I still get, not all the time, but I still get those moments where I go, I didn't see that coming. And then you get people go, oh, I saw it coming. Good for you. I want to enjoy the process. Now,
well, everybody's different. Newsflash. You may have saw it coming, but doesn't mean I did or you did or anybody else. Frank, Tom, or Harry did. Yeah.
The experience of not seeing it coming and having that moment of the eruption of like throwing the crutches away in this particular scenario. I remember, I think I said it last week. Like literally, there was the absolute. Maybe I didn't say it on the show, but I did say it to my other half. Like so long, I've been watching it for like 26 years, and they got me, and I love the fact that. And don't get me wrong, I go, you flippers, I'll say on the show, you absolute, as I said, but enjoyed it from start. Then off to the races we went with Vision and the world title, and obviously it ended the way it ended. But like, it's just. if I go to a movie and you see a movie and you go, and you've seen how like 90, I don't know, romantic comedies, generally, they split up, they get back together, live happy after. We all know that's going to happen. It's a nice feeling. Wrestling
It's a Hallmark movie, right? Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Wrestling has that. We know at some point the good guy, like Gunther at the moment, people are shitting on him, but he's the career killer, right? They keep saying John Cena. No, I disapprove with the John Cena career killer thing they're doing with him, only because we knew whether John Cena won at main event or whether John Cena lost at main event, he was still finished after main event. So the whole career killer but with AJ Styles and Goldberg, I kind of get it to a degree, but I don't like oh yeah, he killed John Cena. No, he didn't. John Cena was leaving.
Cena elevated Gunther, if anything. That's a positive way to look at it. Yeah, regardless. But I get, I respect it. I'm not, trying to.
Him coming out on Raw this week with AJ Styles music. I mean, what a dick move to do.
No, it got me though. I thought maybe AJ was coming out to give a speech or something, but it was good because it surprised me that we need more moments. That's what bad guys do. They fool us. Yeah, they come out to their opponent's music or somebody they retired. But hey, Gunther, I just wanted to say this: AJ Styles was doing the great psychology by taking the legs out, doing the calf crusher, getting the knees of the bigger Gunther. But man, when Gunther gets you in that corner, you're boxed in. I mean, when he's chopping you see those welts. I mean, AJ was trying. It was a struggle, but I mean, a guy that big and can exert his superior style on his opponent, no matter how great you are, like an AJ Styles. I enjoyed it, and I thought AJ just every time, like Sammy, he was trying to come back. He was finding his way back. It looked like he was going to overcome Gunther when he did the 450 splash off the ropes, and that spot too that I alluded to earlier with you, Benny, is in their match, or well, back to their match, pardon, on Raw. It's when Gunther would use the referee and do the low blow, the mule kick on AJ Styles, and then do the power bomb. Everybody thought, oh, this could be it. But you kind of felt like, well, they couldn't end it the same way. AJ's got to escape. And, so it was an emotional roller coaster, but I thought it was not to get too dramatic or overhyped about it, but it was a good match. And easily, other than the Rumbles, this was my favorite. I know we'll get into Drew and Sammy a little bit, but I just wanted to add, this had to be the match of the night for me, AJ Styles and Gunther.
The emotional element of it, I think, plays a factor, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree. But again, that's not taking anything away from Drew and Sammy. I think there's more to come with Sammy, and obviously Drew retains, and which makes sense. You don't want to play hot potato too much with the title, especially the world title. You don't want to be doing that. Not that they've done that in the last few years, if not longer. But I would like to see Sammy, like I said earlier, about world champion and stuff like that. But it's, where does Sammy go from here? Are we going to have what? I'm trying to figure out what they're going to try and do with Sammy. Like, Drew's established. I think we're probably going to be seeing a Drew Cody match. Now, whether that's at Mania or whether that's at Chamber, I don't know. But because we could, this main event at Mania we could have Drew versus Cody for the title Elimination Chamber. I don't know who wins. Drew may retain. Cody may.
I don't know either.
I don't know. That's not. I was just. Sammy's... Oh, go on.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say, did you notice? And Sammy's great at selling stuff. I'm sure he was in a lot of pain. It's the physicality of this match for the title between he and McIntyre, but he just looked like he was already kind of done for to me. I don't know if people could see that, and that's probably him just being really that good. But he just, every time Drew would work the back or Sammy would try to make a comeback, Drew would always get the better of him. And probably Drew, that's just the gist of it. It's just, but it did make me believe, man, Sammy is just going through it. We normally see him do this in a lot of his matches, but especially here, it just seemed like before Drew even worked on his back, he was worse for wear. At least that's the illusion they created. I mean, and it's a testament to his great selling, because Sammy has always been noted, though he's going through pain, that he really can react great and make you, speaking of emotions and getting you involved. Gosh, I'm getting tongue twisted, but I just wanted to say, that's one thing I noticed, but I think that's just the way it was meant to be, and I just got fooled a little bit. I'm like, man, Sammy is just that.
There
That's
were
what I mean. I
moments,
just got
yeah.
lost in it, yeah, a little bit, where I'm like,
There were
man,
moments,
is
weren't there,
Sammy
where you
going to do
thought,
something? Yeah.
yeah, you thought Sammy might pull this off. I mean, does Sammy go on, or is this just it? Is Sammy just there to get Drew to the next? Is he just a transitional sort of like?
Well,
opponent,
that could be, yeah, where he's just the way they're positioning Drew, and I tend to agree. I think there's going to be something with Cody and Drew, and Fatu's still involved in a lot of ways. So, I mean, we're probably going to get a triple threat, regardless. Somehow, some way. But yeah, Sami Zayn with the exploder, and then Drew doing not just one, but another Claymore, because he's like, this guy's hard to beat, and he is different. But the only way to finish him off is if I do another Claymore. So I like the way it finished, because instead of just, even though I'm all about if you hit the finish, it needs to be over if that is the end of the match. But this made a lot of sense. Yeah, just to do another Claymore and end it.
Yeah. It was
didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah.
No, it's fine. It was a punishing match for Sammy, and I mean, some people have even called it a squash match, which I don't think it was.
I don't think it would be a squash, or he wouldn't have got any offense in.
No. If you want to see a squash match, you want to see the SummerSlam that Brock Lesnar and John Cena did. This is the year that I think it was 2014 when Brock beat the streak at Mania and absolutely destroyed Cena at SummerSlam that year. I think Cena did two things, and it was literally all Brock for 15.
It was Suplex City.
16 minutes, yeah. So, yeah, that's a squash match. Or even the Brock Lesnar Kofi, where he literally got F5'd and lost the title. That's a squash match.
Yeah, that was quick. On SmackDown, it was the premiere on Fox. Yeah, it was back 2019, maybe before COVID.
Yeah, it was.
But I was going to say, speaking of Brock Lesnar, what's your feelings about, Dragunov was doing those machine chops, and Lesnar was just not doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that was interesting. Yeah, because most people would take Dragunov's chops, but he wasn't going to give the younger talent much, because he is the beast. So I mean, I guess he could get away with it. He's Lesnar. So
I think,
but I noticed the spot in the corner.
no, pun intended. In the corner. Welcome to In the Corner.
Right.
Yeah. No, it was good. I don't know whether that's anything going forward, but if it is Dragunov versus Lesnar, all right.
Yeah, it'd be fascinating.
Do you see Dragunov beating Lesnar? Possibly. I mean, I'm going to say possibly, but it'd be a physical match. And this is the good thing. Like, there's so many, like you said, over Dragunov, even other people that came out from NXT in the women's match and the men's Rumble as well. There's just so many. If Brock's going to be around for a while, so many opportunities, not just with Brock, with Roman, with freaking Limit, even Finn Balor. There's so many things that could happen with these talented.
Yeah, there's people, a lot of possibilities. Yeah, and I didn't mean to cut you off again. I was just going to say, man, Lesnar, I don't know if it'll lead to a match, but just as far as moments, it was neat to see him interacting with NXT stars, because remember, he did with Keith Lee the big confrontation. You got that feel, maybe with all due respect to Lee, in a bigger way with Obafemi, literally too. He's even bigger than Brock, but the way Brock can still manhandle some of these big guys that look dominant, it's like, whoa, you just forget how scary this guy's strength is. I mean, he can just suplex Obafemi, eliminate him, and there you go. I mean, he was throwing around the Big Show like nothing.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, in terms of like Obafemi, whether he gets a WrestleMania this year, irrelevant, because if he does, amazing. If he doesn't, if he keeps going the way he's going, that dude is gonna be up there, and he's gonna be hard.
Oh, he's a star. Yeah, he is definitely gonna get a push.
I can see him being in the Elimination Chamber match. I can see him being in it. Whether he wins, I don't know. Whether the momentum's there for him. We need to see him on this side of this. We haven't, because he wasn't on Raw. I can't remember if he's a Raw. No, he's a Raw guy, isn't he?
No, they never said.
Oh, no, they haven't. They haven't said.
He showed up on Raw and he destroyed the War Raiders. I don't know if it was even a match. I think it was just to dominate the War Raiders. Yeah, it's talking about squash. Yeah, we should have segued into this.
There you go. Yeah. That was a squash on Raw with Oba coming out and just.
It sure was.
I was like, oh, cool. The War Raiders, haven't seen those for a while. Oh, okay. They've just been literally destroyed by Obafemi. Okay, thank you.
Well, when he came out, I was thinking, this is, speaking of Wade Barrett, I've got some bad news for him.
I didn't know that was going to happen. I thought, because they said they advertised a tag match, and we're going to have a tag match now. This is going to be a tag match. Oba's coming out. I thought, who's Oba going to be teaming with then? Oh, nobody. He just literally, it's not even a match. He's come out there just to destroy.
Just a 2-on-1. Okay, great. Yeah.
So he might end up on SmackDown. I don't know. So he's still technically an open free agent, they call it, don't they? So yeah, interesting, man.
It's like when Andre would come out and take on 2 or 3 guys and just destroy them. Yeah,
talk about enhanced. Now, normally they do that with, no offense, they do that with local wrestlers or somebody who is not quite made it through to the WWE system yet. But the War Raiders are former tag champions and pretty much tag champions, I think, everywhere they've been, as far as I'm aware. But the fact that they just got literally destroyed by Obafemi tells you how much Obafemi is being, again,
position,
the future and the position, yes. The future of Obafemi is literally whatever he wants. He's got the crowd behind him. You know, Javon Evans and Trick Williams as well, looking like
Javon Evans.
Stars.
Yeah, he's interesting. The bouncy stuff is clever. I was trying to get him a little more, but now I'm starting to see it. And man, Randy Orton catching him in the RKO. Okay, you've made it. If Orton catches you like he did Seth, and I think it was, who was the other guy? He was with AEW for a while, but he used to be there. Evan Bourne or somebody like that, where he caught him coming off the top rope in the RKO.
Evan Bourne,
somebody like that. Yeah, I can remember, but
crikey, man. But there you
go.
Anything else you want to add before we disappear, mate? Is there anything else you wanted to bring up before we disappear?
Well, I was just going to say the Raquel Rodriguez Stephanie Vaquer match was actually pretty good. They didn't try to make it too hardcore, though it was in Philadelphia. And let's face it, no disrespect to WWE, especially contemporarily, they're not going to get to even back compared to the Attitude Era in the early 2000s, which is fine with me because I think I want to see more of the match anyways between these two. But I like Vaquer. She is a star and definitely the champion. But I'm really liking the way they're going with Raquel. I do. As much as I like Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio coming back, the segment set it up nicely with the dissension. Raquel addressed Liv saying, we've been celebrating your victory all weekend, and it's like, but we need to talk about something, that elimination. And you said it about Liv, covering it up nicely and saying, and then Raquel telling her, I don't want any interference. I don't want involvement from anybody. Yet Liv still, proceeded to do it, give her the title, and it cost her because that momentum shifted to Vaquer, but it still looked like Rodriguez was going to Tejana bomb Vaquer. And, we saw Perez before that, where Vaquer took care of her, another member of Judgment Day. And then she did the Hurl Karana, and then that high-risk maneuver, some sort of splash. And forgive me, I'm still trying to learn all the moves because it's been a while since I've caught up with some of the wrestling. So I know there's going to be somebody go, this guy needs an encyclopedia on moves. I get that, but I'm trying. But anyways, I wanted to speak about that match. And, the breaker stuff's good. It tied in with Heyman and Pierce, this whole where Pierce is getting now where he's openly mocking Braun Breaker, just setting him off. So I found that to be very insightful. I'm like, whoa, he's kind of letting Adam Pierce go a little bit here. And
I just wonder if it's, don't forget, Adam Pierce is a former, I think he's a former.
Yeah, he's a former wrestler. Yeah. I got a little excited there. Forgive me. But
wait
a minute. Yeah. Whoa, my voice just jumped. Maybe it's finally warming up now, and that's the problem. But yeah, I got excited over Adam Pierce. I never thought, no disrespect, but to get excited over the general manager.
Just wondering if it was Adam Pierce is it Adam Pierce?
And it may be. No, please go ahead. I didn't mean to. We're just both excited. I know. Yeah.
It's just I'm just wondering if it is. I mean, I took it that it was Austin Theory. I was looking at his boots after when Austin Theory entered the Rumble, and I'm like, those boots that you're wearing underneath those long trousers and that hoodie, being extra big and everything, so you kind of hide the potential physique, whether it was Seth, Adam, or Theory, is interesting. I'm gonna. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't care. I'm gonna go on the limb and say, sorry, what the heck am I on about? But yeah, I'm saying
you maybe get hungry. You may want a leg of lamb.
It's
maybe
tea
that's
time here, man. It's tea time here. It's time for me to have my food, man. But yeah. No, interesting, man. It's fun going forward. We've got Elimination Chamber still to go. We've still got a load of Raw and SmackDowns to go. I just learned that because I didn't see it, because I don't, as we've already said, apparently Joe Hendry is now the new NXT champion as well. I learned that before we came on the air, and I was like, okay, cool. So I might have to so now they have to find a new champion after Oba retained or regained and left the title in the ring and disappeared from NXT, and now he's obviously on the main roster. Where he's going to be, I don't know. He could be a great addition to either roster, whether it's Raw or SmackDown. So I
think either brand would get a great assist if they had Oba Femi as part of their program.
Yeah, definitely, man. All right, cool. Well, that was in the corner a little bit earlier. We've, yourself is back on social media. I saw you starting to post some stuff up again. I don't know if you want to share any of your shows and what you're doing at the minute, Tyler.
Well, I appreciate it, Benny. Yeah, I'm right now. It's kind of spontaneous. I do have episodes out that are now past episodes of Tyler's Takedowns and Tyler Talks Music. Actually, yours truly, Benny Mac, joined me to talk about Drew McIntyre and CM Punk from their Bad Blood PLE matchup, which was a great lesson. Go check it out. I think episode 40. I'm surprised I can remember anymore. But yeah, it was with Benny Mac. Tyler Talks Music, we'll have to get Benny on that program as well, but we'll just talk everything music just to change things up. And Back When's available and some old episodes of my first podcast when I was first getting going, so forgive me about those, but not bad. It definitely got better since being a part of SJP World Media, still trying to. And you can find Tyler's Take / DDP Productions on Facebook. You can find DDP Productions 86 and myself on X, formerly I still want to call it Twitter, and then Instagram. You can find both of them there. So I'm just everywhere, and that's probably everybody's nightmare, and they probably don't want to wake up from those kind of dreams, but so be it. So Benny, once again, we just have a blast here, and I just can't say enough great things about this host. He does a swell job, and it's like I mentioned before in the open. It's a pleasure. I know. I'm blowing smoke, but it's true. It's at least good smoke. It's not going to blaze anything. It's nice.
I appreciate it, man. Mate, again, you're part of the show, and it's so much easier to chat to somebody about wrestling rather than me just talking at the camera or at the microphone. So you do help in a big way as well. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. So enough of the love fest. There's a lot of stuff going on wrestling wise. I'm hoping to do a bit more on the YouTube channel soon. More the new WWE games coming out in March, so we'll probably do some more of that stuff. Looks really good actually this year, and we'll basically keep In the Corner channel all wrestling related, whether it's WWE or not. But obviously, it's mainly WWE because that's the stuff I watch. Because we've already said there's not enough time in the day. Hopefully, you're listening to the audio version this week. Hopefully, the audio is not played up so much. The last episode was episode 90. This is 91, so there was going to be a bit of a jump. I say hopefully. Hopefully, we can get another episode out audio-wise for Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That's Tyler. I'm Benny Mac. This is In the Corner, and we'll see you all again, hopefully, next Wednesday.